Hi, this is the Vedic Astrologer with the May 2015 reading for Vedic Libra. I did a video about Western science versus Vedic science because I had been getting a lot of feedback that people are watching for their Western signs and finding that they resonate. So I made a video about that. Please check it out if that has been happening to you. Okay, so the first card out for Libra for May 2015 is the Moon card. Which had come up as the first card out, I think, for Virgo as well. Sorry, I'm kind of spotty with saying what the cards are because I'm usually just kind of trying to read them and I'm not always able to kind of get the messages and say what the cards are at the same time. So when I think of it, I will. So let's see. So I feel like there's some unhappiness about a situation that's kind of gone wrong, that you had a lot of hopes in. Like a lot of hopes. For some of you, I think this is fresh, and for some of you, actually, I think it feels pretty fresh. Yeah, I feel like you had hopes for this to kind of be it, whether it's like a job or like a person. I'm feeling it more as a person, but I always feel things as more personal just because that's the bent of my mind. But it feels like something that you had kind of hoped would be like the one or the thing, or like the thing that was going to carry you forward, and you were done looking and this is it, and then somehow it got turned upside down. And for some of you, I think this may have come through a trip. Like you went to see this person, or you and this person went on a trip somewhere, and it was just disappointing. Like a bunch of stuff came up that you had no idea was there, that you were not even aware that you should be looking out for because it was a complete surprise to you. So yeah, I feel like things came up and they haven't really been dealt with. That may vary for different people, but what it feels like is there's a situation that's on your mind this month that was something that was very positive that's gotten upturned, and you're kind of left with I'm looking at the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, which in the upright I think of as the card of enchantment, where you're like, oh wow, oh my goodness, everything, and in the reverse here, in particular with the Moon card, it feels like it's like something that felt like this, it's now like, woo, and what you're left with after all that Ten of Pentacles hope is this like one pentacle, So there's the Queen of Pentacles who's like, well, from all this expectation, all this stuff that I was kind of throwing up in the air as like possibilities and excitement, I feel like I've got this one little ember left, this one little flame. And I'm not even sure what to do with it. Do I nurse it? Do I blow it out? Like, where do I go from here? And I feel like you and the other person are both sort of in that moment of looking at what's left and trying to figure out whether to walk away or whether to come back together. And it feels like an internal process for both of you, like you're both sort of in your corners a bit. Yeah, it feels to me, I was initially going to say that it feels like if you are the woman in this situation, it feels like the man in this situation, or it feels like a masculine energy, it may make an offer towards like reconciliation, trying to make it better. But it may be in such a way that he's being so sort of guarded about it, or so self-protective while making this offer, that you may sort of miss the significance of what he's even saying, is what it feels like. It feels like it may just feel like a further disappointment and a further reason to just turn away and move on. The thing that I'm trying to kind of feel out at the end here is that it feels to me, sorry, excuse me, it feels like there may be it feels like the advice is not to rush either to it, back to it, or away from it. So I was kind of trying to get a sense of whether it was more like leave it behind or return to it, but I think it's unclear because I think it will be different for different people. But I think that the real message is that there are lessons to be learned from this process about yourself and your own expectations and what you can do to be more prepared in the future. For upsets somehow. It's like how to put yourself on firmer ground, on surer footing, so that you're not quite so like out to sea next time. Because it feels like this was something that kind of came up and was like very exciting and very ideal, and somehow it's left you hanging, like it's left you with not that much. Or feeling very uncertain about what it is that you do have. And so it seems like the lesson is for some people this relationship will continue and for some people it won't, but it seems like the lesson is more in how to stabilize yourself so that you don't get sort of caught out there like that again. And it's not to say that you were wrong for being caught out there in this instance, it's just to take this as a lesson so that the same thing doesn't happen to you again. So to review your own assumptions, behavior, and expectations and see how those led to this moment so that you can kind of take in the wisdom from this situation. Yeah, again, yeah, exactly. It's like the key is in, and this came up for Libra last month, I think, too, that the key is in the interaction. It's in the, actually here it's a bit different. The key is in the hope chest. That's interesting. So this is the Hierophant in reverse that I'm looking at. And what my attention is being drawn to here is the crossed keys on the trunk at the foot of the Hierophant. But so the key here for you to pay attention to after this sort of disappointment is in your hopes, what your hopes were. And again, it's like hope chest. It's not just like your hopes, but it's like it unlocked some part of you that was like waiting to be rescued or something. It's like Charlotte saying in Sex and the City, I've been dating since I was 15. Where is he? Or whatever. It's like that kind of Prince Charming hope or something. And it may not be that for everybody, but it feels like it's more in like what your not just in what you hoped for from this relationship, but how that tapped into a bigger need within you. So it's like, how can you satisfy that need within you without looking for it from someone else? Because it's something that it feels like can't be granted to you by someone else. You need to become aware of it so that you can work on healing it or filling it, So, yeah. So yeah, it seems like this month you kind of have a choice to stay stuck or to kind of move forward. And by staying stuck, it feels like going back to this same situation and expecting it to turn out differently without fully evaluating. You know, it's like treating it as if like this thing that happened was just a bump in the road and you can just keep going and everything will be fine. When this bump in the road happened, not just because it's a normal course of a relationship, although there will always be bumps, you know, but because this is sort of like a receding, if you continue to act with the same underlying desires somehow, which feels like it is a desire to be rescued somehow, and this could be if you're a man or a woman, then you're going to keep hitting that same rock, and the positive returns are going to diminish, you know. It feels like you really have to, in order to get the most out of this, you have to go out on your own in a way this month, in a way that may feel a little bit scary. But you have to kind of allow those like dark things, or those things that you worry can never be satisfied. You have to allow those worries in a way to bubble up to the surface. Looking at the Two of Swords here, and this sort of stuff, the Two of Swords sometimes indicates a choice, not always, but this is the sort of stuck side of it, where there's like receding, like you're just never going to get as much as you want out of it. It feels comfortable. Sorry, my hand doesn't have which way to move. It feels comfortable because, you know, you've been there before. It feels solid, but the actual future prospect of it is diminishing. It's smaller. It's not where you want to go. But if you kind of go out on a limb more, if you go out on a limb more, and allow this stuff to kind of bubble up. I don't know if you can see the bubbles from there. Allow this kind of muck to bubble up of your fears, and allow yourself to do something different that feels a little scary and feels like you have to swim a bit further to land. It's actually going to have a longer and richer future prospect for you here on the side of intuition. So you may have been sort of blocking out your intuition, or, yeah, just listening to other people's chatter a little bit too much and not listening to your own heart. But it seems like this month is really a time to move forward in a way that acknowledges, again, this sort of like hope chest that acknowledges these things that you wish somebody else would just solve for you. Allow those things to bubble up to the surface and kind of move in a different direction, or move in with a different intention. And the intention here is for you to be the one who's in charge, basically. For you to be the your own pillar of strength, basically. So if this is a relationship, it's like you need to be able to be yourself in a whole way that encompasses everything that you actually have, that you actually manage, you know, and meet another person on an equal footing, rather than having one person sort of take care of the other, or having there be like a meeting of minds on one level, or like a communion on one level that doesn't reach all the other levels. It's like what you're working towards is a thoroughgoing union, communion with someone, or it could be in business as well, like something that really meets all of your needs. And you're not going to be able to do that until you access your emotions and find strength in your emotions. So rather than worrying that your emotions are inadequate, or that your emotions are wild somehow, it's like you have to access those emotions that you may be a bit afraid of, and allow them to guide you, because they will steer you right, is what it feels like. And the act of doing this, of trusting your emotions, and in some cases you may need to, you know, speak with someone to kind of allow these things to bubble up in a safe environment, you know. But it feels like the structure that is building, the strength of mind and heart that's building within you, is leading to a really beautiful renewal. So let's see. And it feels like something you may be just really afraid to do, you know, because maybe it's, you know, Yeah. I feel like it's very scary for you right now, for whatever reason, to step out on your emotions or to step out in this new direction. But I feel like you have been getting sort of messages about it, or butterflies in your stomach, or like you have like there's been like an accrual of little signs or symbols or pushes, nudges that you may have been sort of quieting down or tamping down. And I feel like it's time now to act in that direction. And I feel like it feels frightening to you to do that, but it feels like that's what you're being urged to do, and that it will lead to renewal and strength and hope. So there's a lot of good to be had this month from sort of doing things in a new way and from addressing your fears. I think it may be a bit exhausting, though, as well. So you may need to take some time for rest, and it may also upend somehow this growth that needs to happen, which feels, again, like an emotional breakthrough or intuitive breakthrough. It feels like this growth and the effort that you put into making that happen may mean that you just feel wiped out by the end of the month, or at some point in the month. And you may just need to really take a break and just rest yourself. Because I think that, again, you're heading in the right direction, but I think it takes a lot of strength for you to make whatever move you're being urged to make this month. And so you may just need some kind of time to, you may just need some time to renew yourself and to kind of quiet down a little bit, quiet your mind, be with people that you love, and allow yourself to be kind of filled up again emotionally, because I think you're going to be kind of operating from your less strong side or something, which is always a little scary. But again, the message is to stay bound here, that you're kind of on the right track of something that's going to be very positive for you and very big. But it does require a shift in your way of communicating and your way of perceiving things. So I feel like there's a bit of downtime again at the end of the month where you kind of, it's like, here I'm looking at the Eight of Swords, but it's kind of like you're bandaging your own eyes. Like you need to take a moment to just be within for a while. And it's like you haven't abandoned this new path, but you may need to just hold still for a little while and let it all kind of sink in before you can have any more forward movement. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for May 2015 for Vedic Libras. I hope that's helpful. Please get in touch with me at the Ivy League Astrologer at gmail.com if you're interested in a personal reading. Actually, my link for scheduling is just down below, so you can go ahead and book if you're interested, and then the instructions are included in the email receipt. Please note that all the times on the scheduling website are Pacific time, because I'm in California, so they're all in California time. So yeah, okay. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a good month. Thanks.